In the dying days of the Soviet Union, a secret military unit was conducting routine training maneuvers in a remote stretch of wilderness. What happened next was never meant to see the light of day. According to a chilling declassified CIA file, 23 elite soldiers were turned into literal stone poles, petrified in an instant by a mysterious energy burst from extraterrestrial beings. Only 2 men survived, and what they witnessed would haunt the KGB for years. This is the forbidden story of the Soviet stone soldiers incident. Welcome to the shell of hidden archives. Picture this. It's the late 1980s. The Iron Curtain is cracking, and the Soviet Empire is on the brink of collapse. Deep in the remote wilderness, some reports place it in Siberia, others in parts of Ukraine. A disciplined Soviet military unit is running standard combat drills. These are hardened soldiers, trained and armed, ready for anything, or so they thought. Suddenly, the sky splits open with an unnatural hum. A low-flying object appears, shaped like a classic flying saucer, metallic and eerily silent, gliding far too low over the treetops. The troops freeze. Some reach for their weapons as panic ripples through the ranks. Then someone fires. A surface-to-air missile streaks upward and slams into the craft. The UFO spirals down in flames and crashes hard into the ground nearby. The soldiers approach cautiously, rifles raised, hearts pounding. What emerges from the wreckage is something no human training could ever prepare them for. 5 humanoid figures step out of the smoldering debris. They are described as gray-skinned, with oversized heads and large pitch-black eyes. Classic extraterrestrial beings straight out of the deepest UFO lore. The soldiers open fire, but the beings don't fall. Instead, they move with unnatural coordination. Then something impossible happens. The 5 entities huddle together and merge, fusing into a single pulsating luminous sphere. The sphere begins to grow, pulsing with otherworldly energy. The 2 soldiers who later survived were standing slightly apart, partially shielded by the shade of nearby trees. They watched in frozen horror as the sphere expanded rapidly. Then it detonated. A blinding white light erupted, brighter than any explosion these battle-hardened men had ever seen. In that instant, the 23 soldiers who were fully exposed to the flash were transformed. Their bodies didn't burn, they didn't disintegrate. They were petrified, turned into rigid stone poles, chemically identical to limestone, according to later secret tests. Their weapons, uniforms, even their facial expressions were frozen forever in stone. Only the 2 men in the partial shade survived, paralyzed with fear but alive. The sphere, having delivered its terrible retribution, vanished without a trace. The surviving soldiers were immediately debriefed under extreme secrecy. KGB operatives swarmed the site. The stone remains of the 23 soldiers, along with wreckage from the downed UFO, were rushed to a hidden laboratory in Moscow for analysis. Reports claim the stone soldiers were subjected to intense study. Geiger counters reportedly detected unusual radiation. The chemical composition confirmed they were no longer flesh and bone, but something closer to mineral. A massive 250-page file was compiled. This dossier eventually made its way into U.S. intelligence hands. In the year 2000, a CIA summary of that file was declassified and quietly added to their reading room. The document references articles from the Canadian tabloid Weekly World News and the Ukrainian newspaper Holos Ukraini, but it treats the account with disturbing seriousness. One note in the file even warns, if this file corresponds to reality, it is an extremely menacing case. The Soviet Union collapsed shortly after. The full 250-page KGB report has never been publicly released. Why? What were they really hiding? Was this an act of pure self-defense by visitors from another world? Did the aliens deploy some unknown energy weapon? A directed light that could rewrite matter at the atomic level? Or was this a demonstration? A warning to humanity not to interfere with their operations? Some researchers point out that the story first appeared in sensational tabloids, raising questions about exaggeration. Others argue the CIA would not have bothered archiving and declassifying it if there was zero substance. The timing is suspicious too, right at the end of the Cold War, when both superpowers were deeply involved in secret UFO programs. And let's not forget the Belgian Congo incident from 1952, where fiery disks were seen hovering over uranium mines. Another case where unknown objects showed intense interest in strategic resources. Are these connected? Are extraterrestrials monitoring or harvesting Earth's most dangerous materials? The Stone Soldiers case stands as one of the most horrifying declassified accounts on record, proof that contact with the unknown can be fatal and irreversible. The shell of hidden archives continues to crack open. We may never recover the full KGB file. We may never know exactly what those two survivors saw in their final moments before the light consumed their comrades. But one thing is certain, if this really happened, then they have weapons and technology far beyond our understanding, and they are not afraid to use them. What do you think really occurred that day in the Soviet wilderness? Were the soldiers victims of an alien retaliation? Or is this the greatest Cold War hoax ever documented? Drop your theories in the comments below. And if these buried truths have ignited a fire in your own shadow, if you feel the pull to crack open archives of your own and broadcast dispatches from the unseen, then step into the light of creation with Syllabi. This powerful AI tool lets you transform wild ideas like the Stone Soldiers into fully scripted, voiced, and visualized videos in minutes. No camera, no crew, just pure storytelling from the depths. Paste in a concept, let Syllabi weave the narrative, add dramatic visuals and voice, and launch your own hidden archive straight to the world. Head over to syllabi.io right now, craft your first forbidden dispatch, and join the growing ranks of truth seekers building channels just like this one. If this episode sent a chill down your spine and left you hungry for more declassified horrors, buried files, and encounters that defy explanation, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the Silent Shell Syndicate. Because some archives were never meant to stay hidden, and the next one is already waiting in the dark. Until next time, stay in the shadows.